When you're working on integrating or trying to get a person to inhibit a Babinski reflex, again, you're checking the integrity and the function of the corticospinal pathway or the corticospinal tract. So again, we're going brain, through the brainstem, through the cord, inhibiting at the cord level this reflex. So when I'm eliciting a Babinski reflex, I'm really firing up the S1 dermatome. When I elicit or when I provide that stimulus, a lot of times if a brain isn't inhibiting at the cord level, you're even going to get L4 muscles that are contracting. So you're going to see some L4 and L5. So you see that withdrawal, you'll see that big toe extend, and you'll see the splay of all four toes with a Babinski. So Mr. Taylor does not have a Babinski reflex, so you see no response here. But when you're working on integration of a Babinski, the same principles apply to when you're working on a Palmer. So again, you can simply use a vibration device or a paintbrush or like a eraser portion of a pencil, something that's just provides some deep pressure, some deep stimulus. You can even use, the back of or the top of your thumb fingernail, whatever that is. So if I'm working on Babinski, just eliciting that reflex over and over, having photobiomodulation in the right spot of their brain, so that's in this case is Mr. Taylor's right foot. I'd have it on his right lateral cerebellum, and I'd have it on his left parasagittal, just off of midline, right here behind his frontal eye field, so where he's perceiving and controlling his right foot. So a lot of times when kids have Babinskis, you'll see a lot of toe walking or delays with just like gross motor. A lot of times they'll be night wetters or have difficulty holding their urine or slow to potty train. There's a whole host of different, essentially, side effects that you see from the Babinski. So when we're strengthening and eliciting activity in that area of the brain, a lot of times eventually those things can start to improve significantly. So Babinski integration, I can use the vibration device, my thumb, just to elicit and stimulate that reflex over and over. So that can go a long ways. You can also do a lot of work and stimulus on the top of the toes or around the lateral malleolus. So sometimes stimulation here, if kids have like a strong withdrawal reflex, you can check underneath the lateral malleolus or even some sharp pressure on top of the toes. You're going to see that same Babinski response. So you can use stimulation in those areas to help integrate a Babinski reflex. Really powerful would also be range of motion through the ankle. So if I worked on his hip and knee and now I'm down through the ankle, and a lot of times just working on range of motion through that hip and knee can help you integrate a Babinski reflex. But range of motion through that ankle is really powerful. So in this case, what I would do is if I'm working on ankle specific, I'm going to flex the knee and I'm going to put a little bit of axial compression in through that tibia. So he's coming down, tibia is on this talus joint, and I'm applying some pressure to simulate weight bearing. And then from there, I'm just going to do some fine figure eights, some complex movements, and whatever creates smoothness in that movement. If they're really reflexive, you might want to start with just some gentle joint ranges of motion or mobilizations. Again, similar to a Palmer, there have been times where we maybe have a kid for a 2-week intensive and they have a stubborn Babinski that hasn't gone away. And I have a light bulb moment. I'm like, I haven't adjusted this kid's talus yet. And I adjust the talus and immediately that Babinski can integrate, especially if it moves well, especially if they had a lot of restrictive and reflexive movement within their ankle. So when you're adjusting a talus, if it's within your scope, bring your thumb so where that tibia and that talus meet, and then go thumb over that joint. And you can use this as a mobilization. So same setup. So I'm providing a little bit of distraction force. So I'm kind of pulling down through the line of the tibia. So I'm pulling my arms this way while also scooping my hands into dorsiflexion. So this movement here, so I can mobilize. And if I want to mobilize, I don't want to just do one plane over and over. I want to maybe do some inversion and eversion, kind of like alternate between the two, but I'm always pulling to try to open that joint up while also scooping down through that joint. Really powerful is if your scope allows for you to add an HVLA adjustment to that. So you can make a lot of progress just working on joint mobilization, range of motion, stimulating. But if you're able to add an impulse to that joint, that's a huge lateral cerebellum stimulus that really fires up that contralateral cortex. So right cerebellum, if I'm working on right ankle, left cortex, if you can, always have the lasers in the right spot, complementing your therapy, making it much more effective. This could take sometimes weeks without the lasers, sometimes it takes 10 minutes with the lasers. So definitely, if you're able to do that, add those to your treatment, and then make sure you have it in the right spot while you're doing it also. So again, stimulating the reflex, joint mobilizations, ranges of motion, adjustments, very powerful ways to integrate a Babinski. Also work on having the child or that patient motor plan with their feet. So we'll have kids pick up marbles and pick them up from the ground and put them within a circle or put them in a cup. Or we do a lot on vibe plates to get them a lot of sensory input to their feet. We do a lot with balance activities where they're having to be really active in maintaining their arch and supporting or maintaining ankle stability and really working on proprioception from this area. Anything you can do to promote activity within the foot and ankle, even knee and the hip, can help strengthen the brain so the brain can then inhibit the reflex. So you could also tie in like an asymmetric tonic neck reflex portion to this. Like if I'm working right body, I'll have Mr. Taylor turn to the left. And this is just a very powerful way to create activity in one's brain so then their brain can then inhibit.
Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. To learn more or to schedule an intensive or anything with my team, there's a link below. Just go ahead and click that and that'll get you to the right spot. Have an awesome day.